Hey everybody. I hope you can hear me. I think you can hear me. I'm trying to check out my audio. I think you can hear me. I have a very light background music today, and we're going to see if I can get to everyone's questions, because I appreciate that there are not many people in the chat now. It's not going to stay that way. So let's try to see which questions would be far most on your list first of all. And before I start, I'd like to say, anyone who's tuning in and who is not on board with mediumship, working with the way I work, giving messages from those who have passed, please don't watch. Don't watch or leave the room or leave the chat, okay? Because I get a lot of strange people coming in. Let's see. We have Radha here. Radha, who asks, I'm doing fine, Radha. Ask him, what is our true self and how can we remove fear and doubt? Let's see. Let me see if I could get that. Everyone's true self is known individually. You only need to look in the mirror for you to see this, or be silent, and a quiet mind will make that message emerge. The same, in many ways, the same practice can be used for fear, because fear is a condition that is human, therefore very common. You need to understand the basis of the fear, why you feel this way, and that will help you to begin overcoming fear. Many people become powerless in the face of fear because they believe it is part of their nature and they cannot change. I need to communicate that change is the human condition, is the true basis of life, but no one can force you to stop feeling fear or make you change. You and you alone can do that. Okay, we have some fairly long answers. Okay. Let's see. Tink. There you go. Can you ask Prince Philip to explain his transition to the other side? What was it like for him? I knew we were prepared. My family and I were prepared for my transition. I faced that moment embodied, incarnated, with a sense of peace and longing. Actually, I wanted and was ready to end such a long life. As my soul, that was partly attached to my body, started to leave, there was a moment when I did not understand that the process had begun. And I moved toward a sense of movement. It was similar to a moving carpet, an automatic carpet that moved you along, like you see in airports. You stand and it moves you along, almost because I could not do it myself. I was not in control of a physical body movement. This was different. No sense of time I can explain or describe, because I didn't feel I was crossing time, but I was moving to a place. And that movement had no sense of passing, even though it is called a passing. You say transition. We can say it is indeed a transition. And transition means movement. It was not with my own means. It was not of my own volition. It was as if energy left my body. And that was a sense of relief and a sense of peace came over me immediately. What I can highlight in that experience was that all of a sudden I felt no need to perform, no need to show someone something, no need to be anything. And it was as if I was starting to fall asleep. Much calm and much tranquility I felt. Wow, he did lead a long life. He did live a very long life, indeed. Let's see. Let's see what Gary for Grace has. Hello, Gary. Does the USA or any other place in the world have alien technology? Alien technology. Let's see. Yes and no. There is not a thing that we describe as alien technology, but aliens, they do come and stay on the planet, but they have no technology that is different from what we know. They have practices that are different and objectives that are different. They want things that humans do not think of at the current time. They are here on a mission and have been here for quite some time. Aliens have moved very wide and very far to bring initially a sense of peace and a sense of understanding, trying to foster a change in perspective and consciousness. This, however, was modified throughout the decades because forces I believe to be malevolent overtook these objectives and energies. And not all alien groups who come are to be defined as malevolent as others. It is true, they are foreign in relation to people, humans, but they act in a way that can be quite similar, even if their higher purpose is not anything like humans' higher purpose. When you speak of higher purpose, you signify a power that is beyond human and a nature that is described as the divine. Aliens today no longer are aligned to the divine, and this has changed the initial objective of their visitations and their permanence to the planet. This, you must know, will also change in the future decades and generations, because their purpose and their goals will be modified. I can counsel you to bear in mind one important thing: that they exist, and as humans, not all are acting in alignment to the divine. Humans need to be sensitive to this and learn to protect themselves against these energies, these forces. Oh, long, 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 long. I'll jump around to different people since we have, we can do that today. Jaya, and then I'll come back to second questions from the same persons, if Prince Philip is willing to. Jaya asks, can souls choose to stay back on Earth after their death? This is not a choice, but a restriction. The state of mind of a soul at the point of death conditions whether they remain earthbound. And it is a very disturbing moment of time for them, because they have no contact with humans unless there are humans who can communicate with them. They need to move to their astral planes. It is a very, very, this is a very wise speaking man, and it's, the energy that comes in is a person who has accumulated so much knowledge, not because there was study, but because of life experiences that have not always been positive. And the impression that I get from the energy is a person who is non-judgmental, which is interesting. Non-judgmental. Okay. Unicorn Diva. How do we come out of the reincarnation cycle? Many souls become members of different councils or some form of guides or masters when they pass. This is a way of concluding a cycle and perhaps re-beginning again another cycle. But what occurs generally is that once a soul moves onto the level of mastery or becomes a council member, they may be sent to newborn embodied souls for special purposes. They can guide certain souls because these souls are meant to do particular actions and activities and have specific goals in furthering the consciousness of humans. Strong, strong, strong person. Okay. Yes, Dipakshi. I love that session with Tina Irwin. Yeah. All right. Kim. Yeah, is it you, Kim? Can we ask Prince Philip of the energy theme of 2022? This year will bring, first and foremost, the energy of creativity, which will move and motivate humans most of all. However, right behind that energy is the energy of fear. So you see, creative energy, which is not good or bad, is followed by fear, which almost invariably is negative. This needs to tell you that through creativity, you can overcome fear if you give in to your creative streak. This is interesting. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Sunita, thank you. Please ask how the Queen is feeling now. Relieved. And this is not meant as a joke. We spoke so much when I was conscious. We lived and had a long life. We fought and argued so much in our life, but we remained together. Not always was this easy, and you understand what I mean. She's relieved that I am resting in peace, but she also is starting to embrace her demise that she knows will come. And she is in a very poised position because those around her care for her every need. And she has the time to meditate on the end of this life and also try to think what a future life might bring her. She is and always has been a stern, sweet, loving woman. Many describe her today as prudish. She is, always has been, but with all her limitations as a human, she still has a great capacity to love her family. This is what I liked about her the most. Let alone now any of the press releases that caused or wanted to cause scandals and used crown scandals to sell the media. especially now with Prince Andrew, the gestures and steps she has taken is only meant to safeguard the institution, nothing more and nothing less. So when you read newspapers saying how the Queen has thrown her son to the dogs or to the wind or off the bus or off a building, it's just what the press says. She basically is a very caring person. It was unfortunate that the story about Prince Andrew emerged. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is part of life. And life only is a series of decisions we make. And those decisions cause us to have to take responsibility for having made those decisions. These answers are so long, so long. Okay, let me... Cynthia Cluck Johnson, how should the royal family move forward in this crazy world? I mentioned before safeguarding the institution. The royals represent an institution, and it is as if it can be compared to an office like the political offices, a presidency, safeguarding a presidency, or safeguarding a constitution, or safeguarding the political framework. In terms of the future, I believe the Crown has a responsibility to still represent what that office has always meant. It is called the firm for a reason. It is a metaphor, but it gets things done. There are two things I think are in store for the Crown in the future. One, and the most important, is to reach out to the public in all areas of the world and literally touch people with their kindness. The other side of the Crown's objectives for the future, I believe, is to maintain the institution afloat. It needs to exist for only the reason that people look up to it as if it were a higher power. And in this case, it represents a higher power of humans. But the Crown in no way has anything to do with spirituality at all. but it is a form of representation alone. Now I suggest you think for a moment all the tears shed and still being shed at Lady Diana's funeral after people learned of her death. There are reasons for those tears that many of us don't understand, but more importantly, she represented something for so many people. And this, I believe, needs to be maintained and fostered in the future. A form of representation. My goodness. All right, Savita, we mentioned about that, about Prince Andrew. He just mentioned that. Dipakshi, what do you think about Meghan and Harry leaving the palace? Will they come back and settle in London? I mean, with the royal family. I was very proud of them both. We all were. But there's part of the crown that needed to have a look of dissatisfaction. We needed to show that they were leaving the crown, but not the family. And it was the Queen's response that gave the message that they no longer were part of a royal family, but only of a family. We all admired their choice because it was a difficult one. Royals are poised because they live in a family where many things are provided. But these things come at a cost. And for them who left, the cost was too high. This is a decision they made, just like all of us on earth make decisions. They also are taking responsibility for their choice. And they will visit, but they will no longer decide to move back to the UK on a permanent basis. They will, however, come back for extended periods of time, and both their children will do the same. And for this reason, their parents will come and go on a regular basis. Things will change when the Queen passes. There will be a changing of the guards, so to speak. And this will usher in many, many changes. Whoa. Okay. Kiwi says, he seemed to be so laid back, cool, calm, and collective. Ask him if that was his way to living a good quality and long life. quite the contrary. Maybe the way I looked made you think I was cool, calm, and laid back. I had all my life a problem with digesting food. This tortured me all my life. When I was a younger man, I was anxiety-ridden. I tended to go back to these states often as I got older, first maturing, then got older. Yes, I was on steady medication for that. So maybe I could say that all you see is not gold, as the expression goes. But we too are humans, and I don't want to begin to tell you the health problems the Queen suffers from. But yes, you are right. We must have done something right. My answer was meeting those problems head on and finding solutions. That's the way I always lived my life. And this is the basis of my relationship with the Queen. This is what brought us together. We both knew that we could not go very long without solving any types of problems that would surface. Oh dear. I think this is too big. There you go. Okay, Chanel, snäll hal. Ask him the importance or significance of Om. Om initially was a sound of vibration. It fosters vibration of the vocal cords and your very soul. It is a way of raising the vibration of the soul, raising the vibrational rate of the soul in alignment with the divine. I think those of you who practice using Om understand what I mean. Coming faster and faster and faster. Okay, let's have this as the last question if it's not too long. Nantini, could you please ask him about Bach flower remedies? Bach flowers are and always have been remedies for many different kinds of feelings, sensations, emotional difficulties. Unfortunately, I never used them for my anxiety. I know now it would have helped me tremendously. Bach flowers are, as the name says, created by Dr. Bach. You can find more information about them and all of the remedies. There is one issue with Bach flowers, and this is that they are created using alcohol solution. Some companies use less and others more. So if this bothers you, the remedies may not work as well for you, but they can cure your fears. For example, the question was asked earlier. They can cure very well anxieties, sleeplessness, insomnia, and eating patterns difficult to remedy often find help with Bach flowers. Some companies do not use alcohol, and if you find those remedies with no alcohol, you can use that remedy, Bach flower remedy, for children. You know, I had very little hair on my head all throughout my life. Unfortunately, Bach flowers will not change that. Ah, he's laughing. He's laughing. I guess he wanted to end on a funny note, on a happy note. No, Bach flowers will not put hairs on your chest and will not take hairs off your chest or on your head. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure. Come and listen to my podcast, Multiple Voices podcast. And I will be announcing when the pre-order for my book, The Magic of Pleasure Seeking, is ready. So you'll be able to do that. Namaste, and until we read together again, until we see each other again. Bye-bye.